What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Paranormal Rush Hour. I'm your host, Ryan Rush, and I've got some more ParanorMAIL for you guys tonight. Before I get started, I want to say I'm wearing my Ghost Biker Explorations hat that my good friend Miranda Young sent me. If you aren't familiar with who she is, I've done an interview with her on this channel, and you can go and check that out. And also her show is Ghost Biker Explorations, and she is on YouTube and Facebook, and she does an excellent quality show. I mean, it's just really good. And she's also been doing live interviews and stuff lately, kind of like a podcast type format, and I think it's really cool too. I'll be on there. We were talking about the 16th, so I'm probably going to be doing that. So anyway, yeah, check it out though, because Miranda does a really good job. And if you guys are interested in getting any of her merchandise, I will put the link in the description for you, so you guys can go check that out, because it's really cool. I really like this hat. It's one of those that I would buy myself. But she surprised me with it. I wasn't expecting to get that too. I really like it. Thanks again, Miranda. Anyway, I'm gonna start reading this here story because it's a little lengthy, not too bad, but it's awesome. It's really cool. So I'm excited to share it with you guys. Hello, Ryan and PRH audience. It's you guys. I am Virginia, and I live in western Pennsylvania. I have a Sasquatch story for you. This occurred back in September of 2014. We were camping, my husband and I, at a known campground. There was only one other couple camping several sites away from ours, but we still had visibility between us, so it was nice and quiet. We went to bed around 11 o'clock that night, and I had noticed the other couple camping there hadn't been active for a few hours before, so nobody else was up and about. I was asleep for about 2 hours when my husband and I were awoken by a snorting sound. I opened my eyes, and the first thing I saw was the face of a Bigfoot looking right at me. It was no more than probably 2.5 feet from my face. It had unzipped the tent door and stuck its big, massive head right in our tent. I was frozen. I couldn't even make a sound. We always sleep with a dimmable LED light strip draped above us, and because of that, I could see it so well. It had very dark skin, almost black, though I don't think it was quite as dark as black. It had long strands of hair that draped on the sides of its head and stopped about neck length. They were thick, and it looked as though it was just hair matted together, a lot like the way white people's hair looks in dreadlocks, LOL. There was no hair on the face at all, nothing like a beard or anything. The nose looked huge compared to mine, as did its other features. The skin had wrinkles that looked more like creases in leather. It had a really thick look to it. I got the best look at the eyes because we locked eyes for a few seconds. They were dark and very full. The pupil was not distinguishable from the rest, so I don't know about the fine details, but I can tell you there was more of the pupil colored part in their eyes than there is in ours. The eyes looked female. I cannot explain why I got that feeling, but it looked like a woman's eyes to me. Now this is the really crazy part. Once we locked eyes, we looked for a few seconds, and then her eyes literally glowed a fuchsia-looking color. And by then my husband had raised his torso above my head and saw it without knowing exactly what he was looking at, since he wears glasses, and hadn't put them on. But he knew something was in there and yelled, "Hey!" really loud. Right as he did, the eyes stopped glowing and it pulled its head out really fast, and we heard it run off. It ran into the direction of the woods, but the footsteps stopped right when it would have gotten to them. Then we heard more footsteps approach and pass by our tent, and stop in the exact same place the other ones did. Then we heard much lighter sounding steps, followed by, "Hey, are you guys okay?" It was the man from the other campsite. I and my husband both said, "Yes, we're fine," at the same time, and we emerged from our tent to talk to our neighbor. The man said he and his wife got woken up by the sound of their tent zipper being pulled, but it stopped as they started moving around. Then he got out with his flashlight, which was actually one of the brightest I had ever seen at the time, to see who was doing it, and he looked over to our direction and saw a big dark brown hairy body on all fours with its head in our tent. He said he thought it was a bear until he heard my husband yell, "Hey," at it. He said that's when he saw it stand up on its hind legs, and he knew it wasn't a bear. He said it took off running, and as soon as that happened, another one ran out from behind a tree beside their tent about 15 feet diagonally behind him from where he was standing, and into the woods in the exact same place the other one went. Nobody was going to bed after that, so he invited us to their campsite where we discussed what had just happened and pondered how they knew to unzip the opening on a tent. They were really nice people, and we actually became good friends over the encounter. We all go camping together now, and we hike around looking for the structures and things they make, which I learned all about from watching you show us on your other channel that I found on my quest for answers after all of this happened. I always had no problem trusting you when you would say it is something they had made, and you have been completely validated to me through finding the same things myself all the way up here. And I want to thank you for all the things you taught me and my husband and our friends about something we had no previous understanding of. Anywho, that is my story. Be well, Ryan, Virginia. Thank you. Thank you for the compliments too. And really, that is my whole purpose for that channel, was to just show people what I had out here, because I know for certain there are multiple groups of Sasquatch out here. And the things that I find out here and show on my other channel are the things that they make. And I'm so sure of that because, for one, I have seen them do it. Two, they have been doing it and make the same ones in different places for years. Nature wouldn't be doing that this consistently. I know that. So anyway, that's just some of the reason. The thing is, people who know about them, you can go out in the woods, you can find a stick structure that they've made, and the people who know about them know that structure, this place, is not the only place in the world that has that exact same structure standing in it. They make the same ones everywhere. They're universal. It's like a universal symbology among them, and it's really, really weird how they do it. Like my friend, I have a friend in Australia, and he may be watching right now. If you are, his name's Daniel. He's a good guy, and anyway, he's sent me pictures of structures that he's found. He's like an avid hunter, bow hunter. He's really does some impressive stuff as far as that goes. I saw him shoot a bottle cap off of a bottle with his arrow, like unscrew it. He hit the side of it, and it was crazy. Probably the craziest thing I've ever seen somebody I know do with one. But anyway, that aside, he goes hunting a lot, and he's sent me pictures of structures down there in Australia that look exactly like the ones up here in Alabama. So, I mean, when you've got them in different hemispheres, you know, you can't really say that they're not universal. But anyway, back to this story. This was really cool. I loved this. And I I mean, I couldn't imagine waking up and seeing one, because you have to see one and you have to be able to see their face really good to understand what I'm talking about. But when you look at them, it just looks like something that just you shouldn't be seeing. Like this is because we've been conditioned to think that things like this shouldn't exist. All our lives we've been brought up to think that. So, I mean, had we been brought up to think that they're real and they're out there and this is what they are, and we've been exposed to them, forever, even without seeing one, just like a tiger, you don't freak out when you see an orange and black striped cat, massive cat roaming around, I mean, you might if it's roaming around out in the woods with you, but I mean, like in the zoo or something, it's something you've been told, you've been shown, your whole life. It exists. It's not a surprise. But when you see a Sasquatch, you see their face and you see just how human-like they really are. It trips you out. You're not ready for it. You're never prepared to see one in great detail. And especially when you first wake up, I couldn't imagine that being the first thing I saw. I mean, I really couldn't. That would totally freak me out. But anyway, I'm just rambling, really. So I'll let it be at that. So if you guys have anything to say about this, leave it in the comments, and please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button. That's what they all say now. But yeah, I mean, that's cool if you want to do that too. I'd appreciate it. I really appreciate all you guys watching, though. It's been like a year since I've been doing this, and I mean, maybe a little longer now. I don't know. I could be totally screwing that up. But I know I looked at some of my past videos and it just said a year on there, a year ago. So I was like, wow. I mean, I really appreciate all you guys that have stuck with me and continue to watch. I mean, it really means a lot to me. So anyway, that being said, I appreciate all of you. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll be back with you guys really soon. I've got more to share with you. So as soon as I get the time, I'm going to put those up. Anyway, I've also got a video. I went out and recorded a video today for Frosted Forest Sasquatch, and it was strange because I went out there into this place. It's like on the opposite side of the road from my main bit of property, but there's a little bit on the other side of the road that's mine too. So I went over there because I saw a lot of structures over there driving by, and I was recording this asterisk looking structure that was really wild. Just had a lot of stuff like stacked up and like put together, placed together. Anyway, I saw that, and right after I recorded that, the thing went dead right at 6 minutes even. Like, that was weird. I was like, what in the world? Like, my camera shut off. Like, it got totally shut off. And that hasn't happened in a long time. They used to do it to me all the time. And I've told, about the first time I saw one. It happened to me right then at the very first encounter that I had. And that was at a time, I was really skeptical about all the weird stuff I'd heard, and I hadn't experienced any of it. And that was the first time I had ever seen one, and the first time I had experienced any of the weird stuff that happens with them. Getting my charge up. All right, guys. Leave me a comment and let me know what you thought about this one. And I'll be back with you guys really soon. I appreciate everybody watching, and stay safe and be well. And I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy.